Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Welcome to Kill Me Now. I'm very excited. I'm very excited today because I have a very special guest. You know, like I have my dream guests. He's nodding. He's nodding. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible, the talented, the very smart, and handsome, Mike Daisey is here. Woo!
Hello.
Hi, Mike. Thank
Hi.
you for being here. The name of my podcast is Kill Me Now, and we end up talking about things that piss you off, which is usually the theme of everything anyway. But I just took the subway here. This is a Kill Me Now moment. I took the subway. And I get on, and I am standing sort of by the door. There's like a pole, and I put my arm around the pole. I have a very bad knee, so I always like just lean sort of against the pole. Mm-hmm. This guy's sitting in the seat, white ponytail, like really unattractive. And he's like, "Oh, could you not lean over on me?" I'm like, "I've been taking the subway, 40 years? Can you not lean over?" Like, never happened to me. And he's like, "What? I'll get up and you can sit down so you're not leaning. I can never see anyone just come and just lean over me. Like, what?" And then he stands next to me and doesn't stop. Like, it doesn't stop. Like, he's like, "Oh, yeah. You're looking into your phone. Like, you're looking. What is wrong with you? Like, just, you can't." And I finally, I was just like, "Shut the fuck up. Like, shut up."
Yeah.
Like, just shut up. And some woman is like, "Don't let him ruin your day. Don't let his negativity ruin you." And he doesn't stop. And I just said, I wasn't like, and part of me was just like, I didn't want to engage, but he wouldn't stop, you know?
Right.
And then I'm making eye contact, like I do the big eye contact. He's so unattractive. He has like a pin. It was something that said United States. So I said, "Oh, so I guess we're all with the entitled white. I guess this is the way it is now, entitled white men, And
yes.
Don't get into that, And it just, I said, if my kids acted like you, they would be in so much fucking trouble. He's like, "Why don't you look at the back of it?" He always call me a nobody. You're nobody. And someone says, "And what are you?" He goes, "Well, I'm a nobody too." And then he turns his head. He goes, "You can look at the back of my head." I said, "Oh, the one without anything inside." And then I got off the train. But then I think, this is what I think. Like, tell me if you, I feel like when things like this happen, because I have been feeling like negative and, I'm sick of it. I just need a vacation, generally, I think. But, like, I feel like that's a sign. You know what I mean? Like, this random guy starts screaming at me on the subway, and I'm like, what is the universe? Do you ever think, like, what is the universe? And I don't want to think, what is the... I've been in therapy, so I don't think, because there is no universe telling me anything. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
Do you feel that at all, or?
Yes, I do.
So you think that this guy God, or whatever, set this whole thing up to...
Well, I think there's a science-y explanation
Okay,
of the
go
thing
ahead.
that sounds mystical, which would be that I think that people read each other's subliminal signals all the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I think this guy is really ready to go off on somebody and needs an excuse. So then, like, you seem like someone that will give back the energy that he's giving out.
Right.
And so
that's good.
I think
that's
that
good.
might be part of the matrix of things.
Because I also, interesting, anyone who's like, homeless or soliciting, a solicitor, like on the street needing someone to pay attention to them, it's always me. I'm always the one they go to. And I'm gigantic. So it's like, what is it about me where they feel like they can... like I'm the first one you get off the airport. You need a car. No, I fucking live here. I don't need a fucking car. I know how to get a fucking cab, Well,
I mean, you literally spend your life amplifying and magnifying your stage presence.
Right.
So it's unlikely that turns off the rest of the time.
I'm not going to therapy anymore. I'm just going to meet with you every day.
Okay.
Once a week. Just an hour. She only charges me $20. No, I'm kidding. Mike, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I find you very fascinating, as do most people. And I do a little research. You grew up like in nowhere land in Maine, like nowhere, like neighbors. Were there neighbors? Like how
there were neighbors in a sense,
right?
That if you went like a mile or two down the road,
right,
there was a neighbor. And
But
if you went a mile or two in the other direction, there was a neighbor. And only on one side of the road, because it's Frenchville Road, and the other side of the road is just some woods that lead down to the St. Johns River and the edge of the country. So almost no neighbors.
Wow. So, and it's Maine, so it's freezing, like
Yes.
freezing, tip of Maine.
Yes.
And
This is not the Maine people
right,
are thinking
like Kenny
of.
Bunk, like yeah.
No. This
right.
is so far from that it's like another country.
So you are a little kid. Also, I was told that the traffic light. There was one traffic light, and it was far, far away.
Yes.
Is that correct? All right.
Yes. So it's in Presque Isle.
Okay.
Which is about 75-minute drive.
No
from there
fucking way.
to see the one traffic light. We would get very worked up
Right.
about it. We would get excited about it. My sister
Really?
and I.
Like, what would happen? You'd see the traffic light.
Well,
and-
before we got to the traffic light, we would chant, "Traffic light, traffic light, traffic." We'd just get worked
Right,
up
'cause
about it. It's
and that
actually,
was an exciting thing.
yes, very much so.
And would you sit there and watch it change colors? And
yeah.
I'm so sad right now. I can't imagine. Like, all right. So I believe that the reason why everyone's so fucked up now is because they don't know how to be bored. You
Yes, I actually believe that too.
Okay.
That's actually a big part. There's some shows I'm planning on making in the
Right.
next couple of years, and that's actually one of the central theses is that people don't know how to be bored.
Right.
And it's a huge problem.
Right.
Yes.
So and most great art inventions, so much, what's the word I'm looking for? This menopause is fucking shit. You're so lucky, Mike. You don't have to go through menopause. But explorations. All this stuff happened because people were like, "All right, what can I do now? What? I have some free time. Let me go explore. Let me figure something out. Let me invent something. Let me create something." And there is none of that. But here you are in Maine, right?
Yes.
Like that's all you can do. Did you have a TV?
Not really. Not by the way people think of TVs.
Right.
Now. We had a TV. Later it was color, but originally it was black.
Yeah,
and white.
I had a black and white. My parents wouldn't let me get a color.
And it
yeah.
only picked up
Two?
one channel.
Oh, which one?
It was from Canada. It was the CBC.
Oh my God.
Which is really not even like a channel at all because it's mostly hockey
Right.
that no one wanted
Right,
to watch.
right.
And a few like American, and then sprinkled in some weird Canadian children's programming during the day, which I watched because I was
Right.
a little kid. But otherwise, it was really not
And
that
like,
watchable.
did you listen to the radio?
I did listen to some radio.
Like as a family, would you sit around and?
I remember us doing that specifically with the there was a Star Wars radio dramatization that PBS did, and I remember
Right.
us all listening to that. But otherwise, I don't remember. My parents had that funny thing where they seem to have no musical tastes.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah,
People are
yeah.
always talking about like my parents would always
Yeah.
listen to. My parents literally had no. It wasn't even that they had bad taste.
Right.
They had no taste. I don't have memories of like a music would waft through the
Right, right,
parlor.
right.
There was no music.
Right.
Wafting
No
anywhere.
musical instruments, nothing, no
They
piano,
definitely
no.
weren't playing it, and they weren't even listening to it.
What about like going to the library? Like, was there a library close by?
There was in the middle of town.
Okay.
And I was a heavy user
Right.
of the library.
Thank God.
I was very, very into the library.
And you were a great student, or
No, I was not a great. I was a hard to define student. I was really clearly precocious,
Right.
But I was also very what I now recognize as symptomatic of OCD. And so I would become very obsessed. I would do projects far beyond
Right.
their original constraints, but then also not even complete other projects.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like that's what I was like.
But
I would just often be like, well, why didn't you do any of this homework? And I'd be like, I don't know. I just didn't do any of that.
Well, but you were probably not interested in
yes,
it. Yeah. You
yes.
know, that's like.
No, that was a big part of it.
Yeah. So what do you do? Like you're stuck in the house. You have a sister. Is that correct? Two sisters.
I have
a brother and a sister.
I have a brother and two sisters.
Oh, brother and two sisters. Okay. So were you close? Were you did you figure out ways to entertain one another? I mean, I'm just picturing this fucking house in the middle of nowhere and with nothing to fucking do.
Yeah, well, we created a elaborate series of games. There was a very complex game called Furry Cockroach that mostly revolved around me walking around the living room on my knees.
Right.
And there was a small hassock that I would use as a kind of boulder that I would throw at the smaller children. And I would knock them down with the hassock, and then I would lay on top of them so they couldn't move. There was also tickling, and there were elaborate rules you could do in order to not be tortured by me.
Right.
But
that's exciting.
Well, I was the oldest.
Right.
Yeah.
I got tortured by my siblings.
Yeah.
Not fun.
No. I mean, for me, yes. But no.
Do you feel guilty at all now?
I do. I do feel guilty about it sometimes because I think I was particularly good at doing it.
Right.
And I was young, so I think I was still learning what kind of a sadist I should be.
Right.
And so I don't think I was as enlightened as I was later about my sadism.
Right.
I was a little too, you're learning and figuring things out. I was a little too good. The way I would do these things. And also, my whole family are kind of notorious for, all four of us are very sensitive.
Right.
So I feel some guilt, but then that's tempered by the fact that decades later, people still talk about it like they lived through Vietnam.
Right.
Like when my siblings get together, they'll literally be like, and then Michael threw the hassock at us, and then Michael held us down. Oh, the nightmares continue.
But you're
they really have
they lay it on.
They lay it on, but they lay it on. It's sincere. It's it's a performance, and it is very sincere.
It was my brother and sister versus me, so I had no one, and it was the two of them with their fucking torturing me. And it was so hard, and it's still to this day. I texted them the other day an article I was in that I thought they'd be interested in. No response. So I write, I just love it when you guys ignore me. And it's just, and no response. You go, but it's never changed. All right, whatever. Okay, so, all right, so it's Fort Kent, or you end up moving, right?
Yes.
To a bigger.
To by any measure, just as desolate a place.
Right.
But we basically moved from northern Maine, which is sort of like this almost fairyland kind of it's so remote you can tell mythological stories about it, to central Maine, which is more spiritually dead, now covered in meth, burned out trailer kind of energy.
Yes, I know that. Yeah,
and that's sort of the arc of my when I talk about Maine. It's really I talk about two Maines, and I often use them sort of interchangeably. And the sort of more mythic one is the earliest one, the memories. And we all kind of agree on this. My sister is the closest to me in age. That the time we lived further north and more remotely was the better time. Right. When we moved to central Maine, even though then we had access to more of the wonders of more traffic lights.
Right.
Despite the addition of extra traffic lights.
Right.
The things we lost were not great.
Right. How did your family end up in rural Maine? Were they from there? Your parents?
No. My parents both from New Jersey.
Same. Where in New Jersey?
Point Pleasant.
Oh, yes. Very nice. The shore.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And they ended up there because my father had been an in-country Vietnam vet, and had come back with severe post-traumatic stress disorder.
No way.
And he'd come back, and then he'd gone on the GI Bill to go to college. And because everyone in that generation, all of his brothers went into the armed services whenever they came of age. My father was the youngest. And he came back and went to college and was all fucked up And he was like, he didn't know what he was studying in college.
Right.
He didn't know what his interests were. But he could tell, like, he was going to, like, a community college and
Right.
surrounded by people who are all still protesting the war he just came back
Right.
from. But that didn't make him feel upset with he just felt completely dislocated. And then he was in a psychology class, and they were describing
PTSD?
Yes, basically. I didn't have the word yet for PTSD,
Yeah.
but the guy at the front of the class was like, have you ever felt like you're outside of your body?
Right.
And my father was like, yes. And he realized no one else had raised their hand.
Right.
And then the guy was like, when do you feel that? And he was like, oh, in a dream.
Right.
In a dream I felt that.
Right.
And then the guy's like, right, because if you felt that, you would be in a disassociative state.
Right.
And you would be crazy. So my father ended up specializing, like he ended up getting his master's in clinical social work, and then going to work for the Veterans Administration as a therapist.
That's amazing.
Working with mostly Vietnam era, but then other era veterans who'd been in combat.
That's unbelievable. So, he was sort of healing himself. He was using it as a tool to help himself.
Yes.
And yet becomes so knowledgeable and wants to help other. Oh my God, what a great guy.
I'm fond of him. And one of the side effects of going into like government service is that when you look for a job, they're like, well, you know where we do need someone for the Veterans Administration?
In Maine, in the middle of fucking nowhere,
Maine.
And there's no traffic light.
That's right. And he was like, he was just out of grad school and he took the job. So did people come to your house?
Like, did he see patients at your house?
No. He always had like when we were in Fort Kent, there was there was a mental health center downtown that he saw patients, and then there was a vet center, which is part of this program that the government set up. They're all over the country still, in Bangor when we moved, and that was where he always saw them there.
And what did your mother do?
My mother was originally a housewife, and then when we moved to Central Maine, she got a job as a meat cutter. And she worked at like a supermarket.
Oh, right.
Cutting meat.
That whole that meat cutter, like the thing where you go back and forth. I've always wanted to do it, but I know that did she ever hurt? Like,
she never hurt herself, but I got the same job. I was a meat cutter.
Really? With her?
Never with her.
Too bad.
It is too bad.
Yeah.
But I cut off the end of my finger on the meat slicer.
What? Let me see.
It's this one here where you can see.
Oh yeah.
That sort of callus there.
And how bad? I can't. I don't want to.
It was pretty bad.
You know, I worked in a factory.
I thought that you wanted stories of terrible things.
That's awful. I worked in a factory one summer, and they made heaters or whatever. I don't know. They like portable heaters, and they had this machine that put the serial number on, and it was you put a plate of metal, and then you pull this thing down, you press a pedal, and then you pull this thing down, and this huge weight comes and, puts the note, and then you change the next number, and it comes down, and it just, indents, or what's it called? I don't know, whatever. Imprint, thank you very much. And I got my finger caught under there with I fucking wanted to fucking kill myself. All right, so here you are. You're the oldest of four. I love people's life stories. Now, you're in school. Are you popular in school?
No. I was very unpopular in Fort Kent.
Club? Yeah.
Because I had grown up there, and so I had not, hidden my actual identity in any kind of shielding. So I was really misanthropic and strange. And I was like a kid who would spend all of his time at recess, out at the edge of the playground.
Right.
Alone making up stories.
But were you lonely?
Talking about black holes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Were you lonely, or were you just who you were and didn't give a shit that,
I think I was profoundly lonely, but I also had cloaked that and a lot of I was very smart.
Right.
And so I'd done that thing that a lot of smart people do, and some of them never actually stop.
Right.
Where I decided I was so smart that I know that things like human attachment are foolish.
Right.
That was my shielding.
Yeah. Coping mechanism.
I remember really meaning and really ardently arguing that liking any music was dumb. I remember arguing with people about the idea of liking music. People who like music are foolish.
Wow. And you would go to the nth degree.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, meanwhile, if I...
And was everyone like, don't go near Mike, he's such a fucking asshole? Like,
Yes.
were they like, what about your teeth? Like, did your parents come in and were like, tell us about Michael?
My parents were parents of their time.
Right.
So they were not very involved.
Oh, okay.
I don't think of them as being bad parents. They were like, I think, a normal level of involvement. But something that's really persisted after that time that I've come to realize is very different, certainly than today's parenting. And even then, is my parents kind of raised us like wolves.
Right. Really?
Like, yes, they raised us like wolves, like in the sense that
no guidance?
No. There was guidance,
right.
But there just wasn't a lot of like rules on top of that.
Right, I got you.
Or expectations.
Right.
My parents had and still do, have very few expectations.
Of all of you?
Yes.
Wow.
Like.
So how do you get motivated? It's all self.
It's definitely not about
right.
like I'll do things for. I get this because I talk to other people,
right,
and I understand that for most people, the thing about like, and I really want my father or mother to see that I've done X or Y.
Right.
I think I have a version of that, but it's very faint and it's very far off.
Yeah, I mean, it's like as a mother, I know, and I want to know everything my kids do, but what's so weird is. Like, I was afraid. I was afraid of my parents. Like, they're not afraid of me.
Yes.
Like, they're so not afraid of me.
Yeah.
And I envy those parents who the kids are, are afraid of them.
Well, my mother is one of the scariest people.
Did you get hit?
I did not get hit.
Oh, I did, yeah.
But
belt? Nothing belt? No, nothing? Wow,
no.
lucky.
But she's psychologically very scary. I know that's true because my friends, the friends I still have now who know her, agree that she's like the most frightening person. Like it's like scary to a level where other people were scared of my mother.
Like just to talk to her, or
like the other day I was playing a game with some people after I had seen a play. We were sitting at Ollie's, that place across from like Blair's Horizons.
Yeah,
and we're playing a game, and the game was who would play your mother if you cast her today? Oh. And I immediately was like super clear. I was like, it would be Frances McDormand, clearly. Right. But it'd be Frances McDormand from that 3 Billboards movie.
Oh, right.
That everyone agrees is kind of over the top. Right. But it's that.
Right.
Except that character at the end of the movie gets unjustly imprisoned in a woman's prison for about 8 years. And then is released, not freed, but just released because she served her time, even though she didn't. And so it's that character, but even harder.
Wow.
That's what my mother's like.
So did you feel loved or nurtured or?
Yeah. I mean, she loved me like in this very like, I can kind of sum it up. Like, she sounds like this, kind of like, yes, Michael, I love you.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I love you.
Yes.
Is that what you wanted to hear?
Right.
I love you. All right?
So
Is that fucking clear? Like
right.
Curse like a sailor.
Oh.
Like it's very funny every time people are like people will talk about
yes,
my
Michael,
shows.
I hear you. Yes.
But people will talk about my performances and be like, I just wish if only you wouldn't curse so much. And it's very funny because I'm like, oh, that's just my mother. Like, that's my mother inside of me.
Right. But, Elisa said, my girlfriend said that to me the other day. We were talking about these comedians who've blown up. And she goes, well, I think it's because he doesn't curse. I'm like, Elisa, like Joan Rivers curse. Like, stop trying. This is how I've always talked. It's a New Jersey thing. I'm telling you, the cursing. I'm telling you, it's so New Jersey. Okay, and then your father. So here's your mother. She's harsh, and then your father has PTSD.
Yes.
I mean, you can't win here.
No, probably not. For my father's PTSD, it's funny because, if you just have those facts and you know anything else, you assume like the father must be even harder. Right. But like a lot of men's PTSD, it shows itself in him being very remote.
Right.
So he's very loving. I can tell in this way that he loves me and he loves my siblings, and he's very human about it.
Right.
He's just far away. Like it's very hard to know what he's actually feeling in any given moment. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure that is the effect of the war. Right. And then his life since then. He's just like very far away. Even when he loves you,
Right.
he's kind of remote.
So they divorced, is that correct?
Yes, they got divorced.
And how old were you when that happened?
I was 28.
Wow.
I was 28 when they got divorced.
I always want, there's this whole, I'm divorced from my kid's mother. And it definitely had an effect on he was 7. The other one was 2.5. He doesn't remember. So the one was 7.5. Like the 7.5 definitely, has an effect. But there's got to be an effect on an adult child that no one really explores that.
No,
because it's all about, oh my God, these kids and what's going to happen. But
right.
I know so many people where the kids grew up and they were like, fuck you, I'm out of here. But how does that affect an adult child? Like,
it affected me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, everyone knew it would too. They told me last.
No way.
Yeah, everyone in the family was like, we can't tell Michael. like we can't tell Michael. So they told everyone except me. And they finally told me.
How did they tell you?
I was in New Jersey. New Jersey is
it's Jewish.
I get it.
All right.
I was in New Jersey, and I was visiting relatives and my father, and my father had come to New York and had seen 21 Dog Years, which I had just done in the New York Fringe. It was early days. It was the summer before 9/11, and I went out to see the relatives, and my father was there, and my mother. They literally split up, which is what they would do, and so my father was still there, and then he took me out to this pond and told me the whole story.
Right.
By the whole story, I mean we're getting divorced. Like
right,
he actually had no details and no information and
Okay.
nothing useful to tell me.
Right.
But it was very solemn and formal, and he told me. Yes.
And then what did you do?
Nothing in the moment.
Right.
But I channeled up a tremendous amount of hatred.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Sadness.
No, I was very angry. I did not have a lot of sadness about it. I had a lot of anger about it.
Wow. Why do you think more anger than sadness?
I've thought about it a lot. It's actually, for one thing, you have to understand that I had gotten married the year before.
Okay.
So in a very concrete way,
Right.
I was like, you fucking people sold me a bill of goods.
Right.
And now I have done this thing with my life.
Right.
And now you're literally like, oh, that was a terrible idea. So
right.
I feel like there was that
that's
level.
Great. That's good.
There was that level.
Yeah.
And then there was another level where both of them at some point told me, and I'm very proud that I actually said this back to them. They both separately told me, like, Michael, I just want to be happy.
Oh, God.
And I remember with both of them, I said, that's not your job.
Right.
Your job is not to be happy.
Right.
You've been unhappy this long.
Right.
You're almost at the end.
Right.
Do your fucking job. Do I look happy? I haven't been happy a day in my fucking life.
Right.
So why is that that is not your fucking job?
Right.
Do your fucking job. That's what I felt like.
I was left my first, and it's always been about, if I'm happy, then I'll be a better mother. We're supposed to be happy, but no one's fucking happy. Most people are not, unless you're really dumb. Then you can be happy because you're satisfied by, watching Friends, whatever, on Netflix for $100 billion. But that is I don't know. I find that to be really selfish. It's like you have kids.
Yeah.
And, it's not about your fucking happiness.
Yes. But the inverse is that I think my position was also really selfish. Like, I was saying really openly,
right.
I don't care if you're happy.
Right.
I don't care if you are getting better or self-actualizing. Right. I don't care.
Right.
I literally don't care.
Right.
I want you to do the job of being my parent.
And you were 28.
And I'm 28,
right.
and I expect there to be a fucking family.
Uh-huh.
And our family was always fucked up.
Right.
So,
but
one
they
of the
were a family.
There you go. Because they're so fucked up. Like, I have an expectation that it's fucked up, but it must work because it's still here.
Right.
But now that it's broken, I have to like do a bunch of work on like how fucked up my family was. So now I have more work to do because you would not keep doing your job.
Right.
So it's selfish. And so that was my reaction at the time. You know, in the 18 years since then, I feel much more accepting of like their decision. But like, that's what I felt.
Were you mad that no one, that everyone else knew before you?
I was a little mad, but actually I understand what I'm like enough to know that why they did that.
So you have
everyone in the family is really difficult.
Right.
All the children are difficult. I'm like difficult in a particular way, which is to say that it's kind of like in my work, I wed being like highly emotional to having like fairly devastating logical arguments welded to the like I'm the person who, when you tell me, I will actually tell the parent to their face that it was their job. Like I'll actually say the thing I said to you to them, but probably better. Right. And so no one wants to tell me the thing that's going to set me off because other people some of my siblings will just like cry. Right. Like crying is not that bad. Crying is not as bad as like, oh, I confront you back. Right. And now I'm like, why didn't you do your job? Right. Like nobody wants that much.
So that's so interesting. And do you think it affected the other three kids? Not like you, though.
Oh, yeah. It affected all
it did?
of us. Yeah. Are you kidding? Hugely. Affected everybody.
Wow.
And they were like, my littlest sister, Beth, was like not yet out of high school. She was a junior. Right. It affected everybody.
Wow.
Affected everybody.
That needs to be studied. Okay, psychologist.
On the other hand, it has to be said. I think it should be said. They were, in fact, really unhappy. Right.
Through the whole marriage.
I don't know. I feel like when they lived in Fort Kent.
They were much better.
I feel like they were better.
I feel like you love Fort Kent way more than
Central Maine. Yeah. And I often don't draw that distinction when I'm telling stories, but people who know me well will be able to tell, oh, this is a Fort Kent story. Right. Oh, this is a Central Maine story. Because like the different things come out. And like a lot of the like in northern Maine, there's a lot of poverty as well, but it's in central Maine that I experienced a kind of despair that's actually deeper than I experienced in northern Maine.
So you went to college.
I did.
Right from high school. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm a Jew, and that's just like you have to go to college. Like was there any discussion in your family or did you choose?
Well, there was no discussion in my family because of this wolf thing. Right. Which one of the biggest ways it expresses itself is my family really, 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 really doesn't dictate what you need to do once you turn 18. Okay. Oh, okay. Like that's really the demarcation line. Right. Like in my family, once you turn 18, it's like
bye now.
To the point where it's like bye now, and if you're still here, there will be rent, right? Like you're done. Oh my
God,
like you're all
so
done.
Not Jay.
Like you're all
not
done.
Jewish. Yeah.
You're all done now.
Right.
I have to admit
my work here is completed.
And I have to admit it's in me too. Like I think I would be the same way. And actually, I have to tell you that given what I feel like I see in my culture, I'm like, more people should try to be that way. At the same time, I'm very sympathetic that the economy is so completely fucked. Right. And we've so fucked young people that I get how it happens. But emotionally, so it's weird because it really gives kids an opportunity to like super fail. And I very nearly took it. I didn't apply to any colleges at all. I didn't follow any of the routing where you're supposed to. Right. I didn't do any of that. And then I applied to one school. Uh-huh. That was a small micro Ivy college that my own guidance counselor was like, that's not really a school that Maine people go to. Like, but that's very indicative of like, you have to remember that my high school lost its accreditation 3 times.
No way.
Yes. And losing your accreditation as a high school is really difficult.
That's hard. Yeah.
Yes. It also currently now today still has the highest birth rate in Maine.
No way.
Yes, it's actually a really, really profoundly terrible school.
That's terrible.
Yes, it's Nokomis Regional High School. For people
They must have a huge picture of you. Like,
I feel like anybody who knows Nokomis Regional High School, even if they were like, would actually be like, he's speaking the truth about where we come from, and we're all survivors. So, like, yes, it's a profoundly terrible high school. It's got I had some interesting and even good teachers in it, but like as a whole is a terrible, terrible high school. So the guidance counselor literally discouraged me for dream smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
So where did you end up? Colby, right?
Yeah, that's the school I applied to. I got into the one school I applied to, and then fortunately they gave me a scholarship to go because I couldn't have afforded to.
Right.
Go. That's not plausible.
So, but you took the SAT. You did all the stuff.
Yeah, I did all the stuff with none of the things people do now.
Right.
I didn't do any.
Like write the essay.
I don't even
get
think
all
I did.
the applications.
Isn't there a PSAT?
Yes, there's a PSAT.
I didn't do anything
there's
except
another one too.
I just
ACT,
literally took the one test that you have to take.
Right.
And I did nothing else.
So, and what did you study?
I this is very me. I created my own major.
Shocking.
I know, which was called aesthetics, which was the philosophical study of beauty and art.
Right.
But really, it should have been called a loose title that allows Mike to redefine it whenever he wants to by submitting changes to what he'll study so he can do whatever he feels like.
So it's just a repeat of your childhood where you would go, not do the work, but then you'd overdo whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except what it turned into basically is I took all the creative writing courses that they had, which normally were an adjunct to getting an English degree.
Right.
But I took them excessively. Like I got them to let me in early, and I took them all as workshops repeatedly over and over again, and way more than any normal person would.
Right.
And then I took almost none of the theater classes unless they were applied theater classes. So I didn't take that much history of theater.
Right.
But I took a lot of I'm doing a production and it gives me credit. So I literally just did shows where I'm on stage or writing. I actually tried to carve out a craft-based degree where I made 2 or 3 kinds of art and got credit for it. And I did very little of anything else. So,
and you were the only one who was doing this. I'm making up my own major bullshit?
No, there were other people who were doing. I mean, it's a small liberal micro Ivy. Other people, but I mean, they probably had more sensible.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
They probably were actually studying some. I don't know what they were doing. But
so you graduate.
I did.
And then?
Well, I graduated late. I actually didn't graduate on time.
Okay.
Because my life fell apart.
Okay.
And so my life had fallen apart so entirely that I didn't graduate on time, and I had applied before my life fell apart. I had this dream. My dream was that I would teach poetry because that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
Like at a small liberal artsy kind of college. And I'd gotten into the Iowa Writers Workshop. And so that's where I thought I was going to go. Right. But then I didn't graduate on time. And so since I didn't graduate on time, I couldn't go. And then I was in limbo for a year.
Are we going to talk about the life falling apart?
Sure.
It's all right. So you're 20, I guess?
Yeah, about that.
And
2021.
Yeah.
What happened? I had a girlfriend.
Right.
And we were not very close.
Right.
Which is an odd thing to say about someone you've been dating for years that you started dating in high school. But we had that thing where we were in a long distance relationship.
Right.
Where she was at one college and I was at another.
Right.
And so we would just get together and have really hot sex.
Right.
Which was hot because she was Baptist.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
It's always the ones.
Oh, my God. There was such a buildup because I didn't get anywhere through high school.
Right.
But then we kept dating.
How did you meet? You met her in high school.
I met her in high school.
Right.
We were walking past each other.
Right.
I was coming out of an art class and she was going to phys ed.
Right.
And we passed each other in the hallway. And I had one of those moments where I was like, I know I literally had seen her before that because the school isn't that big.
Right.
But I felt like I had never seen her before.
Right.
And I was immediately completely smitten with her. And it turned out she did theater.
Right.
And I had started doing theater.
Right.
And so then we were in plays together a lot.
Wow. Okay. So you're having this long. Where's she going to college?
She was going to a place in upstate Vermont.
Okay. So not that far.
Right.
But yeah.
Far enough that you can someone can choose to drive 6 hours.
Right.
And then have a hot weekend of undergraduate sex.
Right.
Which is one of those weekends where you don't do anything.
Right.
Except you're
lay
in a dorm
bed.
room and you just have sex.
You fuck and you order food in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that's all you do all weekend.
Right. Oh my God! Remember those days?
Oh my God!
And you didn't have to fucking get out of bed like you did. Like 4 o'clock, you're like, oh, like I need that. I want that back.
It can happen.
When? Okay, so you're fucking and having the best time, and then going back, and you're really in your head separated from her. You're like, it's not like you're like, oh, I miss you. I'm longing for you.
No, we like.
Did you talk on the phone? I mean,
we talked on the phone, but like it was those days. So like I didn't. There were no cell phones.
Right.
And I didn't own a phone in my room because that's expensive. And
I
didn't
have one either.
Yeah, there was like a hallway phone.
Same.
So we talked, but like not as often. You know what I mean? Like it was
like you. I remember like you'd sit on the phone for hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh my God, what are you doing? Oh, don't say goodbye. Oh no, you say goodbye now.
Yes.
You know, so there was none of that.
Right, because now you can like finish the phone call.
Right.
And you can do that via texting.
Right, yeah.
So it's the same thing of like continuously sort of
going
in contact,
on and not wanting the other person.
But you used to have no ability to except to literally be trapped on the phone together. No, so like she's in upstate Vermont, and especially by the time we get to like my senior year, we're really like not talking very much. And I'm actually like, we should probably break up. And I've actually thought this now for like a year. You know, I've thought this for a while. But
do you think she feels the same way as you?
Yeah,
or she's like attached to you more?
No. I think we feel the same way.
Okay.
So I'm like, we should break up. And I'm actually like talking to friends and being like, we should break up. And then, and I'm also at the same time trying to get together with her.
Right, because you want to fuck.
Well, that, and also because like I don't know, I just haven't seen. So I'm always like, I'm going to have a show coming up. You want to come? She's like, I can't come. I'm like, I can come to you. She's like, I'm busy this weekend. And she's been putting off forever. Right. So then I get a phone call on the dorm phone in the hallway. And I go and I pick up the phone and it's her. And she's calling me to say that her friends have staged an intervention for her. And they have taken her to the hospital because she is 8 months pregnant.
No.
And she's going to have a baby in a month.
Okay. We have to stop right now so I can process this. So she never tells you she's pregnant. Does she know she's pregnant?
That's unclear. What does it mean to know something? I feel like she did know in the sense that I think she knew. But
your body.
I think she really did not want to acknowledge to herself that she was pregnant. So I think that she pretended that she was not pregnant.
So her friends are like, you're pregnant.
Yes.
So, but for 8 months, her friends were, and you'd seen her in those 8 months, right?
I saw her early in those 8 months.
Right.
Before she was showing.
Right.
But I had not seen her. Like
they had to go in, like.
Yeah, they had to.
What about her parents?
I think she'd avoided going home. And then when she had, I think she wore sweaters. I think she had a whole thing worked out.
Oh my God. Okay, so you pick up the phone, you hear this.
Mm-hmm.
Stomach, like pit in stomach, angry, sad, like freaked out, like.
Mostly freaked out.
Yeah. And so you're thinking, I have to take care of this child, or my life is over, or
And we talk about what to do.
Right.
And
this is her friend you're talking.
No, I'm talking to her.
Oh, okay.
She called with this.
All right.
That's her. And we talk.
Oh, okay.
And we decide that we're going to give the baby up for adoption.
Okay.
And so then I go to her. I remember in January waiting for the baby to be born, and we were like staying in this apartment that someone from her college had like helped her.
Right.
I don't know, it was some college housing, and we're in this apartment, and it's Vermont in January, and snow is everywhere.
Right.
And we're like together, but we're terrified.
Right.
And it's so fucked up. And we have only thing we have in this apartment are the binders of all the people that want to adopt this baby, because of course, like
white,
a white and a white baby, and in this world, like there are no orphanages. Like this is what happens: is you get lots of binders.
Right.
And so we're dutiful people, so we look at all these binders. And it's the craziest experience, just looking at these binders in the snow with this person that you were so close to,
right?
But even now, you're so far away from. Because I do think there's this massive gulf where I'm not Baptist.
Right.
So I don't have a giant thing about sex that would cause me to do the thing that she had done. But at the same time, I'm like trying to be a good partner.
Right.
So I'm trying not to like have a giant
Right.
fight about how did you do this thing.
Right.
Instead, I'm like, no, we're a team.
Right.
And so we, the child gets born, and she changes her mind and decides
Oh
to keep
my
the baby.
God. This is a fucking nightmare.
Yes.
And you're there. Have you already told a family that the baby is theirs?
Yes. No
Okay.
family's been told. I thought you meant my family.
No,
they all
okay.
know.
Right.
I didn't try. I'm a maximalist and
Right.
like so. As opposed to like, as soon as I knew this was going on,
Right.
I basically told everyone
Right.
that I was going through this experience.
Right.
I didn't have
I'm
a
the
thing.
same way.
I did not have a thing where I
Right.
was like, and
Right.
now I will deteriorate this.
Right,
Especially
right,
at 20,
right.
I was like, I'm very
Right.
open about what's happening. And then and then. I mean, it was sort of classic. It was like I was there with her, and then when I left
Did she give birth in the room or in the hospital?
at the hospital,
And so she sees the baby and is like, I'm not giving this baby up.
there's a couple like a day or two in there, you
Right.
know. But yes, fundamentally yes. And then I'm in the position of being like, okay,
You're an asshole. Like you're
well, I mean, I'm an
by default.
I'm an asshole in many
Right.
already many fold.
Right.
And then the problem was kind of like a piece of metal that's been stretched. I've gone through like, oh my God, a baby's coming, but not like
Right.
normally it's like half a year away
Right.
or 9 months
Yeah,
away.
they can
it's
plan.
like right now, like
Right.
arriving like sooner than
Right.
like your milk is going to expire in the fridge.
Right.
Like the baby shows up.
like you can't even talk about choices.
Right.
There's no choice.
From a cold start.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, we're going to give that baby away. And then it's like, so I'm
Which
getting
is
ready
a
to do that.
good thing. Like
Which
it's
is
a
good
yeah.
thing, but very hard. Like even
Oh, yeah,
that's a lot
absolutely.
to prepare for.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, that's not happening.
Right.
Actually, we're keeping the baby, and it's still we. So I'm like, okay. And I just think that about that point, the metal of me
Right.
gave out. And so so it was the spring now, going into the spring, and I remember was home in central Maine, so near my college.
Right.
And I was in a huge performance of Waiting for Godot
Okay.
because, like, of course I am.
Right.
While I'm going through this.
Right.
And by all accounts, apparently I was fantastic. I have no idea because I
Right.
was in a deep dissociative state for that entire spring. And I would drive to see them, and I would sometimes not even tell them I was coming. I would
Right.
drive. And I would like park my car at the Shop and Save parking lot, and I would walk up to this boulder that was on the edge of the field, and at the end of the field was the house.
Right.
And I would just stand there at the boulder and watch the house. And I would like not be able to walk.
To go in.
No. I would just watch. I would stay there for hours
Right.
sometimes.
No way.
Yeah, sometimes I would get there. I remember I would get there and it would be, you know, like the sun would be going down a little bit and it would be that winter sun like it
Right.
is now. And I would like wait until the lights came on in the house and I would just like wait. I'd just stand there.
Did they ever come out or
No.
did you ever see them through the window?
No, I mean, I visited only a couple of times.
Right.
But I mean, many times I made
Oh,
this trip.
wow.
So
That's
I seemed
intense.
very remote. And
Right.
I was very remote. I'm going to be clear. I was
Right.
very remote.
Right.
But then I kept coming. I was so fucked up.
Right.
I was really,
Of
really
course. Like who the fuck? Like, yeah.
fucked up. I was really fucked
So
up.
how did you get better?
Well, I mean, how I got better first is that it got worse. So I didn't
Right.
graduate because it was the spring, and I just literally was so fucked up
Right.
that it's like I wanted to punish myself. I just literally
Right.
didn't finish like a language course. Like,
Right.
I did these dumb things and didn't finish them and failed them, and then I was
Right.
like, I don't care.
Right.
And
Well, I mean,
if you're
yeah.
on a scholarship,
Right.
though,
You
they don't
right.
magically give you more scholarship
Right.
because your life fell apart.
Right.
They're just like, okay, you can leave
Fuck
now.
you, yeah.
And so, kind of like my own nightmare of everything about my life, I like end up in central Maine
Oh God.
with no money or prospects
Right.
or degree or anything, living with my parents.
Oh God.
And
Paying rent.
they did not make me pay
Oh,
rent,
that's
but
good.
only because I didn't have a job yet.
Right, right, right.
And so, so then I tried to kill myself.
Ugh.
Um,
Yeah, I mean that
like
is
by the fall.
that's the bottom
Yeah.
of
And we broke up. I mean, it was unclear. Like we broke up by the time it got to that summer.
Right.
Just because I forced to break up in the sense that I was
Right.
totally absent.
Right.
And then in one of those weird reversals that seems so like dramatically appropriate,
Right.
she found someone like right away who was a firefighter in the town and was totally like built like
Right.
like a firefighter,
Like a man.
Like I run into houses and save people. I apparently was like, I love the idea that you have it. I will save it. And and they got married like a year later, and then she's still married to him now.
No way.
Yes, has another kid with him. It's a whole thing. The firefighter.
And do you keep in touch? No, you don't talk to her, or
I don't talk to her. Instead, so I was really wrecked, and then I ended up doing. I got a phone call one day from a former student of mine, and it was my student because I used to teach high school.
Okay.
As a side thing.
What'd you teach?
I taught. Well, I was hired to run the drama club at this little high school that's right next to the college.
Right.
And then they were calling me because they were like, "So you're not here anymore, and Mr. Spears is in charge of the drama program."
Right.
Mr. Spears had like a walrus mustache.
Oh, yeah.
And he wore vests, and he was the Latin teacher.
Right.
Even though they didn't need a Latin teacher,
Right,
but he would just do it anyway.
Right.
And so, as you might expect, he was terrible.
Right.
And the student was literally like, he's terrible.
Right.
And he gave me permission to call you and says, if you come back, like, you can take, like, he actually.
You can take over.
No, he was like, please, I'm terrible at this. He'd like happily give it up.
Right.
And so I remember I was on the phone with her in my parents' like kitchen.
Right.
And I was like, I remember I had so much pride at least that I actually said, yeah, hang on, let me check my schedule. And then I put the phone against my chest. Like, as though I had anything. I was like, I'm literally trying to kill myself.
Right.
And so then I was like, oh, okay, I'm free. I'll come. And so I.
So that saved you.
It did. I went back to running the drama program for the rest of the winter and the spring.
Right.
And I finished my credits. And then by the time it was, spring, by the time it was May, I graduated. And that I left Maine. I left Maine never to return. I mean, I returned to visit, but never to live there again.
Did anyone help you? Like, all right, thank God you didn't kill yourself. You did not succeed.
I did not succeed.
Did anyone find you? Like, was your family like, oh my God, I can't believe you tried to do this. I'm going to be there for, like, I mean, you have these parents who were like, sort of not there emotionally, and you're in this horrible space. Like, how did you get off the fucking phone. How did you survive? I mean, it's amazing.
Well, I didn't, it sounds crazy to say, but like, and it's indicative of something I should work out in therapy, but I didn't involve them.
Wow.
I tried to not involve them.
Right.
And I still haven't involved them. And in fact, I'm in the weird spot where I don't think my mother has, but I know my father has like sat in theaters and heard me talk about this story.
And probably wants to,
I don't know what he wants, but I know that he knows.
Right.
He knows that I have wrestled with this a lot through my life.
I have,
that he knows
we
really
talk
well
a
now.
lot about depression on my podcast because, unfortunately, I also suffer from the very low lows. I can't, it's so annoying. Like, there is a bit of when I'm in a bad state where I don't know if you do this. Like, I look around, like I'm in the world, but I'm not in the world. I'm functioning, and then I'm looking around going, well, what does it feel like to not, hate yourself and want to kill you? Like you walk in the world and you see people doing their life, and you're thinking, like, what does that feel like? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it happens to me. And I have to tell you, when I was pregnant, that was the only time I ever felt normal. And I think it was hormonal, but I was on no meds, and I felt like, oh, that's okay. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go home and I'm going to make dinner. Like, it wasn't like, you suck, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's such a burden. And I feel like if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be a comedian, of course. But it's so I get so angry about it too.
Yes.
It's just a horrible, but you can survive.
You can, yes.
With the tools. Okay, so you leave Maine.
I mean, I'm a big believer that one of the reasons that survival is possible is because, thank God, this life is not endless.
Right.
Like if I actually had to hold out forever, if literally we never died.
Right. Yeah,
that's not going to work out. I actually have gotten like my new way of being positive is that I actually tell myself, Michael, you're in your 40s now. Right. It's unseemly for you to leave the party at this point. You've been at the party so long. Right. Why don't you just see how far you can get at the party? Play a little game with yourself.
Wait till you get in your 50s and you're like, you're almost over. You're almost.
Is it nice? Does it start to feel?
No, it feels like, fuck, are you kidding me? Like, I can't believe it. I can't, you can't, I mean, I look at I can't, like, sometimes I wake up and I go, oh my God, I'm 56. Like, I can't fucking believe, like, I really can't believe it. I don't feel old, but I feel worn, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel, definitely broken in, and I've had my share. When's it going to happen? When am I? Yeah, it's just like this constant waiting. But no, I have to enjoy the process. But but then I have to watch everyone else getting what they. It's just this business fucking sucks cock and vagina. I'm so articulate, aren't I?
Don't forget to tune in next week to Just Kill Me Now.
It's Just Kill Me.
Oh. Don't forget to turn for part 2 on Just Kill Me.
No, it's not. It's
Just Kill Me.
No.
Judy Gold's Just Kill Me.
Kill me now.
Just kill me now.